It's finally here, and let me tell you, Steve Duda could have totally charged for this huge update. This is another synth. This is going to be a short one. Other people have done an excellent job making walkthroughs. I was just watching Alice Effe's one, and apparently she also did some preset work on it. What I wanted to do is to compare it to what I think are the top contenders right now at this level of plugin in 2025. Of course, if you disagree and you think I'm a dumbass for not including your favorite plugin, please tell me in the comments, teach me. So I made this comparison table between Serum 2 and Pigment 6, Omnisphere and Phase Plant. More for me, this whole thing started more for me because I wanted a visual representation of where we are right now. Again, if you think that another synth plugin deserves more to be here, please let me know. So by now, I'm sure you've read all the features in the new update. To me, some things stand out: the number of filter types, the added sound generation methods. I played a little with that spectral engine, and it's really interesting. So where does it stand with these competitors? And why isn't there anything by Native Instruments? More on that later. To me, seeing them side by side, the biggest puzzle in my mind is why we all seem to have moved away from Omnisphere. It's clearly gargantuan when you compare it like this to the other contenders. And also, it's way more expensive, $500. 14,000 presets, 500 waveforms, 65,000 samples. It's an infinite library. Maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe people get overwhelmed with the choice. Maybe also the interface is starting to look a little dated versus everything that's out there. I think that this interface to this day is very clear. It's very conducive to you doing all the programming, all the designing you need to do. Perhaps the reason also, another theory, is that they seem to have focused a lot on the sample side of things. And I think that people have started to think of it as a Rampler. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, this thing is great. When I have a deadline, anything that I need is right there. But I don't know if people have started to think of it as a Rampler, not realizing that there's so much synthesis under the hood. In comparison to that, you open Pigments up and it's sort of conducive to experimentation. The structure of the sound design capabilities is more obvious to you. And with the addition of the new engines recently, it's really, really capable. It's an incredible piece of software because you open it and it immediately invites you to start manipulating and connecting modulation sources and destinations. The identity of these plugins perhaps is very driven by their interfaces. At the other extreme is Phase Plant, which is a sound designer's playground. Apologies for the demo, I didn't realize that I didn't have it in this machine. It is nearly infinite. And I think people using synths for more mainstream purposes are kind of intimidated or will think that it'll take them longer to achieve results with this than with something like Serum. But if we're talking about depth and breadth of sound design tools, this thing beats them all. But again, it's difficult to see this comparison and not notice the size of Omnisphere. At one point, Eric Persing was delivering the presentation of the latest update, and he said it's up to 160 oscillators per note. It's massive. Speaking of massive, why isn't there anything from Native Instruments in this chart? I think it's a similar phenomenon to Omnisphere. Native Instruments now seems to me to have devoted most of its resources on its sample libraries, instruments that are Ramplers as well. Massive X is good, but it's such a CPU hog. I don't want to even open it. And probably the theory going around the most about Native Instruments' current situation is the fact that they were bought out by venture capital. Certainly could be a possibility, but nothing in their lineup seems to me to stand up to these four. I don't know. What do you think? And one last thing, for Splice users, there are presets for both Serum and Phase Plant in there. For Phase Plant, it's about 500, but for Serum, it's more than 50,000. And this is a great resource because when you're under deadline, you don't have time sometimes to sound design everything that you're going to use. And in here are presets by some of the top sound designers out there. And I've learned a lot just dissecting what they're doing. I love to design my own presets, but when you're under a deadline, this is incredible if you haven't checked it out. Honorable mention goes to this little plugin. It's not in the caliber of the other four we've been discussing, not by no means. The new Korg Multi native. It's just, I think it's so well designed. It's just so inviting to start manipulating things. It's got 4 oscillators per 2 layers. I included it at the end of the table. Of course, it doesn't compare with the other firepower the other ones have, but it's very interesting, especially for this little chaos physics bouncing ball thing it has in the middle. You can do crazy things with it. Just putting it out there, give it a try. And the virtual analog engine really sounds gorgeous. Just saying. All right, if you like this, like and subscribe. See you on the next one.